Um, my name's Ryan Steens. I'm the Assistant Director at Texas Digital Library. And we welcome you guys. I think I know everybody who's on the call. I'm not sure which mark is the mark on the call, but if you want to type that into chat. In fact, if you want to ask any questions or make any statements, the chat window is the place to put it. This is the Sprint 11 demo today, and this will be a conversation between Texas A&M, led by James Creel, and Stephanie Larison, our product owner for the Vireo electronic thesis and dissertation submission and management tool. We've already gone over the ground rules, so without further ado, I'll hand it over to James.
All right, thank you, Ryan. And the focus that we had on this sprint was the management of the actual workflows associated with different organizations in the hierarchy. And we have one card that's already in the done column, and that was a bug fix where organizations weren't showing up properly on creation. So that one is already considered done. And if we come over here and look at our Vireo instance, we see that we've started off with a little pretend organizational hierarchy where we have a college that has a department that has a couple of degrees that it offers. So I'll now proceed with the demonstration of the individual cards that were accomplished in this sprint. And first off, as a manager, I'd like subordinate organizations to inherit the workflow steps I create. So in this case, what I want to do is make a new workflow step. I want to make it at the college level here and see that all of my constituents, all my subordinates, then inherit that same workflow step. So as a college, I have the ability to kind of control the workflows of my subordinates. So I'm on the example college there. I'll go to the Manage Workflow tab underneath. And we see the 4 classic workflow steps of Vireo 3. And I'm going to say I want to add a new one. We'll call it the college step. Go ahead and add that. We do find this new workflow step now.
Someone needs to mute their computer. Who's out there?
Yes, the new workflow step is at the college level, and we go down to the department then, and we see that it also has a college step, and indeed we also see it here.
Go ahead, James.
Thanks, Ryan. So for the inheritance of created workflow steps, does that meet your expectations, Stephanie?
I think so. I'm sorry, I got a little distracted from that, from the interference. Could you just go back? What I didn't see is how it was inherited. So how can you tell it was inherited by
this? Okay, so let's do that one more time then.
Okay, thank you.
So here, let's go down to the very bottom here. We'll be looking at a particular degree. We can manage the organization. We see it has a name, it has a category. We can manage its workflow. We find that it has these 5 workflow steps. And what I'd like to do is at the college level say, well, everything in my college now has to have an additional step. And I want that to appear all the way down the hierarchy. So if I add a workflow step then at the college level again, we can add that, and it does indeed appear at the college level. And if I navigate down to the degree, managing its workflow, I see that it has the same step that I added there.
I'm sorry. Would you point out where that step is? I guess I don't see it.
Oh, yes, right down here.
Okay.
The last step in the workflow.
Okay, I see it now. Thank you.
Now it has 6 steps, yes.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Certainly. And does that fulfill your expectations for inheritance of created steps?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, so next we want to show that as a manager, the subordinate organizations will inherit changes you make to the workflow steps that you share. And at the same time, we also want to show that if you customize your workflow steps, you can do it without changing the superior organization's defaults. Right? What I mean by that is if a department or a degree program wants to make changes, they won't have those changes propagate up to the college level. So the changes go down but not up. And so to demonstrate that, I'll come to the Department of FU here, and we'll say, well, our department does the important college step a different way. What we do is give it a different name. So I make that change, an important step just for us. And then we see this change now propagated down to the 2 degrees under the department. But if I come back up to the example college, manage its workflow, I see that the step has the original name there at the college level. So the change did not propagate up, but it did propagate down to these subordinate degrees here.
Okay,
So,
can you scroll, sorry, scroll back down. So it says, okay, the bar thing, no, let's see, sorry. So the bar thing did change at the, so that, where are you? You're at department level, and that's where you made the change. Okay, when you go back to college, does that bottom bar, does that change to the original code? That's what I don't remember.
Yes, it does.
Sorry, if you click on the college, I want to see how the bottom line changes. An important college step, okay. Okay, so that's what you're showing, that I call them parent-child relationships and stuff. So you change a child, and it's not going to change the parent, so it's still there.
Exactly.
But what and for this case, you are showing that you changed the label of it. So, but it may be that this, I don't know, the actual action you do on that, which we're not talking about today, I don't believe. The action might be the same, but you might be, the children are calling it something different. Do I have that right?
Right, that's exactly right. We're kind of demonstrating right now the simplest case of the customization, which might be just changing the name. But
Okay.
the more complicated case is going to be, of course, changing the field profiles. But that is such a detailed issue that we want to have separate stories associated with that would be individually accepted or rejected.
Right. Okay. I'm with you now, and yes, I can agree and sign off on that step so that you can change, and it will not go back up to the parent level.
Excellent. Okay, so next we're going to show that as a manager you can make your workflow steps non-overridable so that the subordinates can't alter them. And it could be the case that as an organization manager you have certain steps that you want to mandate that everybody has to do for your organization. So to demonstrate that, I can come over to department again perhaps, and we can say that maybe the license agreement. For us, the license agreement is going to be not overridable. So you have to do it exactly the way we specify in your sub-organization, and you can't make any alterations to that. So I've made that now non-overridable at the Department of FU level. And now we'll go down to a degree underneath that, and we're looking at the license agreement, and we see that it's read-only, workflow step is non-overridable, and I can see the field profiles in there, but I cannot see the affordances for the actual editing or modification.
Very good. That's neat. Would you mind just clicking? Sorry, go back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Would you mind just clicking on the department up at the top? I just want to see how it changes. So you're fine. And then, okay, this is non-overridable. And those are the fields you already did. It's going to look the same from the college if you clicked on the college. Is that right? If you set it up there, I'm sorry, this could be like a brand new step starting at department?
Well, actually, it's going to be slightly different because at the college didn't say anything about that license agreement being non-overridable. And indeed,
Right.
if the college had, then the department would have not been able to make that change itself.
Exactly, right. Yep. I understand it, yeah.
Okay, so it's kind of complicated, but kind of intuitive in a way as well.
We can
I
call
agree,
it.
okay.
We can
So,
call it.
since you were just showing, I'm sorry, you were just showing, and the previous ones that we just checked off, sorry, I just have to get it through my head again, is you showed that you made a workflow and it kind of cascaded down to everything after that also got the same thing. And then you showed that even the subordinates or the children can make modifications unless a higher level says, no, you can't overwrite, you can't do this. It is not overwritable. Okay, I'm good.
All right, so far so good. So that meets your expectations for Vireo 220.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay.
All right. So next up, we have that, it's card Vireo 225. As a manager, I'd like to order the field profiles on a workflow step at my organization and its subordinates or children using the step. And we have to specify there the clause that it's children may be using the step, because some of the children might not, because if the step was overridable and it was overridden, then if you make changes, it's not going to affect those children who chose to override that step. But we will see that indeed, if you are using that step, that you will share the changes in orderings that you do at a parent organization level. So this is kind of getting into more detail about what happens if you make a modification at a parent and what you'd expect to see at the children as a result of that. So I'll come over to, we'll do it at the department level again. And here it was the license agreement that we made non-overridable. And we'll say, well, for our department, you have to do your UMI publication agreement before your license agreement. So that's the change we're going to make. And so I've reordered these steps now. I come down to the degrees under that department. I see that they also have that change made to the ordering. But up here at the college level, the ordering is the same as it was.
Very good. I really like that that license agreement, the field that you're actually working on stays open and persistent when you're actually moving throughout the organization, the workflow. So thank you for doing it.
Well, it's kind of a freebie.
It's extremely helpful. So, I mean, you can...
It's a feature.
I think it will help people understand how it works. So.
All right, and I'm going to break the number one rule of demos by getting ambitious here. And I'm going to make a change to, oh wait, he doesn't have these steps, but let's see, on the document information, for example, here, for the particular degree, we could change the order of your document information and say maybe put an abstract right after the title. That's a modification then made at the document information on the particular degree. And by making that change, I have in essence given the particular degree a new workflow step for document information. And to make that even more clear, I can change the name. So that's the altered order. If I come over to this degree here, it has the original step, the same one that we have in the hierarchy elsewhere. And if I go into the department and I want to make a change to the document information at that level, say perhaps, oh, well, you put your committee members at the very beginning after the title. So we make that change at the department level. We're going to see that it changes in this subdegree that is not overriding, but in the particular degree that did override, that it in essence has its own step now, that change did not propagate, and it retains what it had previously. If the department objected, of course, it could make its step non-overridable. But that's a card we're going to have to demonstrate on the next sprint. So with that kind of extended demonstration, have we met your expectations for the ordering of field profiles being properly propagated in the hierarchy?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, so next up we want to show VIR 218. This is deletion of workflow steps. We like to show that subordinate organizations will drop the workflow steps that a parent organization deletes. So I'll come over here to my example college, which had the college step. And I'm going to go ahead and say, we don't need this anymore for our college. We performed our practices. And delete that step. And so it is gone. Now, if I go down the hierarchy to Department of Food, for example, I find that indeed it has lost the step, and as have the rest of the children all the way down the hierarchy.
That looks good, James. I just want to interject in case there's some people hyperventilating. When you remove or change steps, and I mean previously those steps existed and students filled out the forms and everyone, that data still exists and it's still in Vireo. You're not removing any kind of pre-existing information. You're just changing the work form and you're collecting different stuff. So I wanted to put that out there. And the second thing is all of this stuff that we're seeing is going to be at a high level. So this is not anything that every staff member is going to be able to mess with. This will be controlled at your highest level, your top Vireo person, whoever currently or will in the future and stuff decide how this is going to be used at your organization and who's got what permissions. So I just wanted to put that out. Yes, it does meet, yep, it meets my expectations.
Great, thanks. Okay, so next up we're going to show that we're going to show VIR 221 that you can order the workflow steps for an organization. And this is done at a per organization level. There's no real inheritance involved. So I can go to my college here. I can say, well, for our college, we got to do the important college step before the file upload. So I can make that change. It does not propagate because every organization has its own ordering associated with it. But you can, of course, change the orders wherever you like, and you do see that it is persisted as you navigate throughout the hierarchy.
Okay, so those are the what I'm going to call it a tab, the bars and stuff. That is what that can be adjusted, and those do not inherit down.
That's right. It's kind of a.
Go ahead. Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it might be I don't know if it's too much information. I just wanted to clarify the difference really between what you're moving here versus when you're within that work show, when you're showing like abstract and title and how you move that, and it did cascade down.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
The difference between what we're talking about here.
Yeah, this is more of the order of the steps themselves of, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4 that Vireo 3 had. This allows you to reorder those steps on a per organization level.
But then the ordering of the fields that you have on any given step, that's a different matter.
Right. And those are orderable as well.
We need to put this on speed, a dial, whatever. I've just been informed that they're closing our library in 10 minutes, so I think you're about done though, which is great. So proceed.
All right. Well, let's proceed. And so that is meeting expectations for VIR 221?
Yes.
Thanks. And of course, if we do have additional functionality we want about the ordering of workflow steps and inheritance, then we could consult with you to come up with some logic for that and some rules and stories, and we can make additional cards for that work.
Okay.
Okay, so, and last, today we have VIR 224. As a manager, I'd like the field profiles I delete to be removed from the workflow step at my organization and at its subordinates or children that are using that same step. So for this example here, I think I'll maybe come to, we'll do it at the department level, why not? And on the personal information, we can say maybe, oh, we don't care about middle name anymore for our department. Too much information. So I'm going to drag that one to the trash can there. I do find that middle name is now removed from the personal information listing. And sure enough, so it is at the child degrees. But if I go up to the college level, looking on the verified personal information, it's the same as it ever was. So that was a override that was done at the Department of Food level and for its children. So does that meet your expectations for inheritance of deletion of field profiles?
Yes, it does.
Excellent. Okay, so this today wraps up our demonstration of work that we were able to accomplish on this particular sprint cycle. We do have a lot of additional work pending to kind of fill out the feature set associated with workflows and field profiles and all the inheritance and overrideability, et cetera. And in consultation with you, Stephanie, we'll of course do some planning to figure out our priorities for that future work and some of the other feature sets associated with the Vireo product. So that does it for us on this end, so thank you all very much.
Thank you, James. That was really great. So you guys have made a whole lot of progress, and it was really helpful to see everything, those workflow steps and how they're going to go.
Yeah, it's great now that we can finally visualize that stuff.
Yeah, I guess we're going to do this again in 2 weeks.
22nd.
Right? The 22nd. So we hope we'll see everybody back there. And if you have any questions in the interim, send them I'd suggest sending them to the Vireo user group listserv. That way Stephanie can see them and kind of share information out with everybody else too. So thanks everybody. Thanks Stephanie. I hope the rest of your afternoon is not dark and scary, and we'll resume this again in 2 weeks.
Okay. Well, I'm getting kicked out, so I guess I'm gone.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Not so bad. Thank you, guys. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.